when we finished our drill program is that we went out and hired these world-renowned consultants to come down and see if we're on the right path, guide us in the right direction. And for the silver prospects, for sure we are, and we can't wait to get drilling up there. But they also came back saying, both of them independently, saying, there's every indication you guys are sitting on top of a large copper porphyry. And so for us to go out and test this further before we stick some longer drill holes into the ground is we want to ensure that we have the right geophysics in place and right mapping. So we just announced yesterday that we have commenced our CSAMT, which is a type of geophysics that'll really help us figure out depth, the size of this potential copper porphyry, because we really want to be careful with every meter that we drill and make sure that every meter is going after something big.
The Financial Survival Network. Now more than ever. The Financial Survival Network.
Welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and here at the Precious Metals Summit in beautiful Beaver Creek. As you can see from the background, I'm here with Tier 1 Silver's CEO, Peter Dembicki, and here to talk about the latest sponsor update on the company, what's going on for the drill program, when we can expect results, and any other noteworthy developments. Peter, it's great to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, great to meet you too, Kerry. Thanks for setting us up.
Hey, a pleasure. So tell me, as far as where the company's situated now, what we can look forward to in the future, what's the next, recently you had a news item yesterday. Just elaborate a little.
Sure. So everyone knows that on our flagship project, for those that are following the company, our flagship project, Curibaya, we started off with these phenomenal silver grades. We had our first pass in our first drill program that wrapped up last December. We finished our drill program with our best intercept of the entire program of hitting bonanza grades over 1.5 meters. So we really wanted to see what comes next. How do we find that similar or higher grade over more widths? And that's the objective over the upcoming drill program that we plan to do, where we're focusing on the Cambaya zone. Now, the other part, when we finished our drill program, is that we went out and hired these world-renowned consultants to come down and see if we're on the right path, guide us in the right direction. And for the silver prospects, for sure we are, and we can't wait to get drilling up there. But they also came back saying, both of them independently, saying, there's every indication you guys are sitting on top of a large copper porphyry. And so for us to go out and test this further before we stick some longer drill holes into the ground is we want to ensure that we have the right geophysics in place and right mapping. So we just announced yesterday that we have commenced our CSAMT, which is a type of geophysics that'll really help us figure out depth, the size of this potential copper porphyry, because we really want to be careful with every meter that we drill and make sure that every meter is going after something big. So this is a crucial part of that story at Curibaya.
Right. And that porphyry could be huge.
It could be massive. I mean, if you just look at our address, where we are within 100 kilometers of 4 of the largest open pit porphyry mines in all of Latin America. And we're on this prolific copper porphyry belt that stretches down throughout Peru and into Chile. And so it really makes sense that we found something here. And from the majors that we've spoken to over the last 6 months, they all say, we've been looking at this area where Curibaya stands right now for that copper porphyry that we've all known it's been there for years. And it looks like you guys might have had it.
Pretty amazing. Well, when I spoke to you a while back, you said you were at the beginning of a major silver discovery. Mm-hmm. And now here we are 6 months later, you're at the beginning of a major potential copper discovery.
It truly is fortunate for us, but again, it all points back to Peru. This is a country that is so mineral rich, so you have these kind of opportunities. We're not going to an area or jurisdiction that is predominantly only silver, and you're not going to find anything else, nor is it only copper or gold for that instance. And so Peru provides that mineral richness that affords us, allows us to go after it. And the fact that we have come across this silver system that has extreme grades, with the potential for the copper as well. It's a geologist's dream, and obviously it's our dream as well to hit both.
Yeah, and your geologists, Mike Henriksen, he knows what he's doing at this point. He's got recent discoveries under his belt. So looking at it, we still got some drill results we're waiting for.
Yeah, so for right now at Curibaya, just like testing out for the porphyry, we want to make sure that we have 20, legit silver targets in hand for when we bring out the drill. We understand the capital markets is in a really kind of iffy place right now. Everybody's trying to get direction on where this is going, and same with this price of silver. We've seen the price of silver go from $30 all the way down to 17, and now providing a little bounce in the last few days. So we want to make sure that we have legit targets in hand before we bring out the drill, and once we do, we know we're going to have some great channel samples to go under. So expect over the next couple of weeks more channel sample results coming out with hopefully some really great grades to go after in hand, and it'll only make us more comfortable and make us more confident in the upcoming drill program.
Okay. Can you just elaborate a little on the company's financial position? Obviously, this sector of the market is, put it mildly, disfavored at this particular moment, which to me just screams value.
Yeah.
But survival, you have to survive to get to the coming riches, obviously. And I know that you guys have been positioning to do that for quite a while.
Yeah, again, since we listed last June, we did a raise a few months previous to that where we raised $13.5 million at $1. And we didn't have to raise again until this spring. Again, it came at a really tough spot in the market. But one message that everybody gave us, including our board, was let's hold tight. Let's be very prudent with our spend. Let's cut everything else out. Trim the fat, so to speak, where we don't need to spend right now, because we're not in a market where money's going to be thrown at you. So that is why we were being so prudent, so diligent with our mapping and our channel sampling and our targeting, because we're not just going to start drilling just to drill, because that is not doing anything good for the company, anything good for shareholders and major stakeholders. So we're in a good position. We recently raised $6 million. So we feel like we're in a good spot to complete and commence drilling. But of course, junior mining companies are kind of always in this state of financing. So I'll never say never, but we're in a good spot right now and really comfortable with what we have.
The market, it's been horrendous. Like you say, it's bounced around. We saw, on the 12th, we saw a substantial rise in silver, rather, nearly $1 an ounce. Today it's down a little bit, but it's not retracing the whole amount.
Yeah.
And we've just gotten to a point where really how much lower can the market go? And like you said, you put out stellar drill results and you're greeted with a big yawn. So you got to be cautious at this point.
That's right. I mean, if you come out with a bonanza grade drill result and expecting that to move your stock 20-30%, you're probably going to have a pretty tough surprise. I mean, inflation is remaining high. That means, the Fed's going to be more aggressive with interest rate hikes, and therefore the US dollar will probably get stronger, which pulls money away from precious metals. But, I think I'm not an economist by any means, but I really do feel like over the next few months, we are going to see the precious metals play really come into play. And I think it'll be good for all companies, and it'll the tides will raise all boats, so to speak.
Sure. And let's not forget seasonality. Q4, Q1, those are the big quarters for precious metals. And because they've been depressed for so long, potentially the rises in coming Q4 and Q1 of 2023 could be substantially higher than normal.
Absolutely. I mean, again, seasonality for silver mid-September and forward, right? So we're looking forward to a nice kick from that. We're not going to depend on it. We're not going to rely on it. We're going to continue to be prudent with our spend and how we're going after our systems here. But again, just to refocus on what we're going after, and that's just one of our projects. Our second project, Hurricane, as we know, came out with those phenomenal copper, nickel, platinum, palladium numbers, and cobalt. And from Christian Rios, our SVP of exploration, who's been in Peru his entire life and been a part of 3 separate discoveries down there, said this is the only known copper nickel deposit that he knows of in all of Peru. And that's huge. Usually these things are found in Brazil and in Russia, and they can be big. They can span for kilometers. So we've gotten a lot of attention from that area as well, because we know how battery metals are really, front and foremost of the EV revolution and everything.
Picking up from where we left off, Peru, licensing, permits. What's your experience been?
Well, my experience has really been guided through our SVP, Christian Rios, who's head of our ops. If you reflect back to last summer, he was able to expedite the process and get us our first drill program drill permit at Curibaya, our FTA, and he got that in an expedited fashion. and to the surprise of everybody, knowing what was going on politically in Peru. And then sure enough, with just as much political instability there is out there, he went out and he did it again and got our DIA permit, which allows us for the 20 more pads, up to 200 holes, environmental permitting for the next couple of years. And again, he proves that he knows the system and he knows how to navigate the labyrinth down in Peru. But it was a really big catalyst for us because one, it gets us to the next point of our venture at Curibaya, allows us to drill out these phenomenal targets that we have lined up. And number two, it really signals to the world that Peru is open for business. They do care about mining. They still are handing out permits. And we've done a fantastic job navigating all that.
Yeah, well, the media always portrays things worse than they actually are on the ground. Sensational headlines, etc. Hey, that's what gets eyeballs. That's what gets clicks. Right. The interesting thing about Curibaya is that there's no major environmental issues and no major any issues there.
Yeah, Curibaya, I mean, no pun intended. It's on a silver platter for us to screw this up. I mean, no archaeology, no agriculture, no residences. This is desert-like terrain, no vegetation. Really, it feels like you're on Mars when you're on site, which is great for us because when it comes down to a major taking a closer look, they want to know that if something's amenable to be there, that there's nothing really blocking it in its path. And the key to all that obviously is the community that we're dealing with, and we have a phenomenal community that we are partnered with.
All right. Well, that's really great news. And I guess the news flow is going to pick up in the coming weeks and months ahead. Make sure you go over to tier1silver.com, sign up for notifications so you can get the latest news. Peter, pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kerry.
The Financial Survival Network.